Pacific Northwest has a great maritime history, and much of that history has to do with shipwrecks. Today on the Mossback's Den, we're going to be talking about a shipwreck that's a gift that keeps on giving. When European explorers and traders first came to the Pacific Northwest, Native Americans on the coast offered to trade with them, and one of the things they offered to trade were large blocks of beeswax. This was not the kind of thing that was produced in North America, and some of the beeswax actually had foreign markings on it. And the question was, where did this beeswax come from? It turned out it was from a shipwreck on the Oregon coast at New Halem Spit, just south of Manzanita. In the late 1600s, a Spanish galleon wrecked on that shore. The ship was part of the so-called Manila trade. Every year, the Spanish colonies would send a treasure-laden vessel to the Philippines, and the vessel would bring back silks, spices, and things that the colony needed. One of the things it would bring back would be massive amounts of beeswax for making candles for all of the Spanish colonies. It lit all the churches and all the major public buildings. If you didn't have beeswax, you couldn't have light. A Spanish galleon normally would not sail up to the Pacific Northwest. Their typical route would be going down the coast of California. But what was the ship doing here? Well, the working theory is that it was disabled at sea. It was probably caught in a storm and driven north and washed ashore. Researchers and archaeologists have been trying to determine for years the exact identity of the vessel, and they've come up with a theory that's almost certainly correct. And that is that it was the Santo Cristo de Burgos, a Spanish galleon that disappeared in the winter of 1693 to 1694. As far as European history goes, the ship simply set sail and disappeared. But we know from Northwest Native American accounts that a ship at the same time and place came ashore. There were some survivors, and some were helped by the Native Americans. Others were killed by the Native Americans. They didn't get along very well. Some of the survivors set out and were never seen again, and some apparently intermarried with the tribes. The beeswax wreck may well be the first contact between Europeans and Northwest indigenous peoples. Parts of the wreck were visible as late as the late 19th century with the shifting sands, but that's since disappeared. Other things that have been found are pieces of china. Local tribes often fashioned pieces of that china into things like arrowheads. We also know that exotic wood teak was salvaged from the wreck and turned into furniture. After the winter storms, the sands have been churned and you never know what's going to turn up. And even now, people can go down and occasionally along the beach they'll find something that looks like maybe a piece of very aged, rotten cheese. It could well be a piece of beeswax from the Spanish beeswax wreck.